Hello, everyone on the website known as YouTube.com, and you might be wondering, that's not you, where's the camera? For those that are here early, my camera is stuffing up. It is like glitching out every, let's just say 6 seconds, where it pretty much like goes really like, it just glitches out. It's hard to describe, it just sort of like funnily enough, flashes. It sort of like flashes weird, and it just honestly, it would annoy you. It would really, really annoy you to watch it. I think I need to update maybe the software for the camera. I'm not too sure. But I literally opened up my software just then, wasn't working. I thought, well, I'm not going to bother tinkering around with it. I want to live stream now. So I'll just tuck up this GIF of Barry with the glow sticks dancing like an idiot, and hopefully it can, it'll surpass. Hopefully it'll do for this live stream. And then next time I'll have it all up and ready. If you know what I mean. So yeah, that's why there's there. If anyone does ask throughout the live stream and I miss it in the comments, could you just let them know? That's why there's no camera there. And there's a weird dancing gif of Barry. But everyone, welcome to the stream. Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. I guess it would be for most of you. For me, it's Monday morning, 9 a.m. But for most of you, it would be Sunday night or Sunday evening. So hopefully you've had a good weekend, relaxed a bit, especially if you are going to school, I guess. So yeah, I'm streaming early for me because it's a good time for everyone else. Like, it's a good time for England or Europe in general, and it's a decent time for Americans. So it's like a good middle ground. Like, I could really not stream at any decent time for Australians, and it would be good for any other time. So that's why I'm streaming now. But yeah, so in this live stream, we'll just go over pretty much what happened in Crisis, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys. Obviously, there's been the comments, but I haven't done a live stream since then to get like everyone's thoughts on what they saw, what they're thinking, what's going forward and stuff. And there's only so much I can do in the YouTube comments and everything like that. This is a much better place, probably the best word to use, to do all that, to get, do some back and forth. It's 4:01 North America, really good. Yeah, especially because it's a Sunday. Like, if it was maybe like a Tuesday or Wednesday, might not be the best time. But because it's a Sunday, even if it is a tiny bit later in Europe, it's still a decent time to watch. And obviously, it's a good time in America and stuff. So I thought, good middle ground. What's up, bro? Not much. Just chilling and want to chat. A bit annoyed about the camera, but anyway, I can get through that. But obviously, through the stream, if you want to get your comment 100% read out or your question 100% answered, you can click the super chat, which you should see in the top right of the stream. That's how you do it. There's like a little dollar Minecraft thing. Click that, and you can answer a question there. Or or if you want to, you can become a member by clicking the join little thing. It's like a little join tab, which should be under the video, and you can become a member, and you'll get cool little emojis, which you might have seen people use already, and you'll also get a cool emblem next to your name. So I'll just spam the emojis in there if you want to check it out. But yeah, Rainbow Dash left a super chat already, so thank you very much for that, Rainbow Dash, with the $5. Very generous. Thank you very much for that. How is life going? Well, at the moment it is fairly warm in Australia, so not the best in regards to that. Especially because it's all, I don't know if anyone's heard that there's all these fires going on in Australia. And like, I'm in the area, not in the direct area, I'm like an hour away from where it's happening. But it's definitely not good. There's like smoke everywhere, which makes the heat even worse. But outside of that, good. It's weird because I'm annoyed the shows are on break, because obviously I don't get to watch them or make videos and stuff like that. But also, I'm not forced is a bad word, but I'm not stuck to a schedule, you know what I mean? Because the shows come out in the middle of the day for me when it's like super hot, and I really don't like being indoors when that's happening, because I don't have, like, my air conditioning is broken, so I can't, first world problems, I know, but I'd rather be out, just go for a walk and stuff like that, which I probably will later on. But yeah, everything's going sweet outside of those little issues with the fires. But yeah, thank you very much for that, Rainbow Dash, and asking. Welcome everyone that's still coming into the stream. I will just repeat what I said. If you are seeing this GIF instead of my big old head, it's because my camera was like glitching out. I think I have to update the software. I'm going to look at it after, but I literally opened it up like a minute before streaming, and I was like, oh, that's not working. That's weird. So I just chucked this GIF of Barry dancing, and hopefully it replicates what I would have been doing on camera. Maybe that's Actually, no, I'm not going to bother asking if you want me to replicate that because I'll just look like an idiot. Ignore that I even brought that up. But Dougie Schechter with the $2. Thank you very much for that, Dougie. Hi. Thank you very much for that, Dougie, and the simple comment. Hi back to you, Dougie. Hopefully all is going well. And Captain J10 with the $2. Do you think we are going to see Oliver in the Spectre suit? I think it'll pretty much just be like a longer version of his hood. If the island hood he has, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a longer version of that. So, that's what I would expect there in regards to his Spectre suit. And that's not a spoiler. Like, they've pretty much confirmed in the episode he's becoming spoiler. So, he's becoming Spectre. So yeah. Please replicate it. I would rather not. Please don't cyberbully me into doing that. But one thing, okay, so I saw someone ask earlier on. I can't scroll out to see who asked it. Wait, can I? Was it? Oh yeah, it's too long ago. Okay, so someone asked, when is my next video? So, if you have been subscribed for a while, whether it be a year, 2 years or something, you would know usually when there's a break in the shows, whether it is like between seasons, like when a season ends and stuff like that, or in this mid-season break. I usually upload a video every 2 days. That's usually when I do it, depending on information. Like if stuff comes out, it might be a couple of videos per day, a video per day in a row. So there could be like 4 days in a row where there's a video out. But usually it's a video every 2 days. But I do want to live stream at least twice a week. So hopefully you guys are up for that. And I'll probably live stream around this time. I might test with different times, but probably around this time. But there's pretty much, it's just under a month now until Crisis comes back. But we should get new promos, depending on what they want to show. We should get new promos, arguably like the first day of the new year or something like that. So that's probably going to be the case. So that's when like new stuff will come out. But really, if you think about it, it's only 2 weeks from now when that's going to happen. And like Christmas comes and it's New Year's, time's going to flow really quickly. So yeah, it won't be too long. Like I think this time's going to go really, really quickly. Even though it does seem like a long time away until it comes back. January 14th is the day after my B-Day. Well, you get a late birthday present then. ZZ on Insta with the old part 2 to the Crisis crossover. Did you get a chance to see Code 8? Honestly, I really enjoyed it. It doesn't come out in Australia digitally until the Christmas Eve. I think it was the 24th or the 12th. So I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I went to buy it because they said it was out, and then I went to look and I was like, oh, it's not out till the 24th of December. So I'll probably just go pick it up then, or maybe pre-order in the next couple of days. Your channel bio is really out of date, Paigey. Yeah, but no one really checks the channel. I should update it, but no one ever, like, the channel bio is like, pretty much now it's dead because of how YouTube's changed the layout of everything. I should change it though, because I think it's like, it probably has like season 4 Flash, maybe? Flash season 4, if not maybe season 3. I think it's season 4 though. Then Arrow season 6. I know it's outdated, but the bio, like, you never see it. So it's a bit dead. But anyway, I might change it. Will there be another episode of Supergirl tonight? I don't know what they're going to play. If you're in America, do they just play the reruns now that they're on break? I'm going to assume that they just play reruns. Because that's what they usually do. But if you have time, you want to chuck something on in the background, maybe like when the new year hits, it's not a bad idea to chuck on the reruns because they might have promos on them. Especially at the beginning of January, you'll probably get some promos on there. So if you have time, yeah, you could chuck that on. When is my birthday? My birthday is the 25th of April. Are there going to be more cameos in part 4 and 5? They're still filming cameos. That's the thing. That's the weird thing with... then that'd be mainly for part 5, I'd assume. I don't know what necessarily happens... Because something big's going to happen. If you've read the comic, you know what's going to happen. It involves a certain character that technically isn't there yet. And that could be where cameos happen. Or they could do all the cameos in part 5 when it's like dealing with the fallout. I'm curious as to what's going to happen. I'd assume those cameos are going to be in part 5. And it's going to be like establishing the new world we're in. But But yeah, they're still filming them. I think Guggenheim said like they were, I don't know how many there were. There was a certain amount he said. I think he said like 8 or 9 or something. Is mayonnaise going to save the multiverse? I have no idea what that's referring to. I have my exams when Crisis comes back. That is quite the L. I'm sorry, Ryan, to hear that. That is a bit of an L. How will they beat Anti-Monitor? I've heard dabbing and flossing combo is a potential outcome for that. But that's like, it's a bit of a spoiler actually. Ignore that I said that. Ignore that dabbing and flossing was ever said. Will Psycho Pirate be in Crisis? If he was going to be in it, he would have already been in it. So, no. I don't know why they didn't involve him. It's weird, though, because people have been complaining about Crisis, and I do bring this up in a video I'm probably going to release either tomorrow or the next day. Not too sure when I'll do it. Oh, sorry, I'll bring it out, because I still got to record it, but it's in my, like, notes. But people have been complaining about Crisis, saying it's underwhelming. I'm like, not really. Like, if you've read Crisis, it's pretty much doing what the Arrowverse version of Crisis would be. Like, in regards to the characters they have and what the means of the crossover was. So, I know people were expecting, like, some sort of, like, Infinity War Endgame thing. I think that's maybe where a lot of people's perception has come from. But for me, it's living up to it. The only thing I've been sort of annoyed about is the lack of, like, an anti-monitor presence, whether it be with, you know, Psycho Pirate and Harbinger and everything like that. But also a lack of Pariah. Like, Pariah is really only in the Flash episode outside of the end scene in the Supergirl episode. Dancing Barry is distracting. It's distracting me, to be completely honest. I can just see him in the corner of my eye dancing all the time. Yeah, it's he's a bit distracting, but I don't know. I could chuck another GIF up there if you wanted it. Let me try and I can find another one. Give me 2 seconds. I have a bunch here. I don't know. Actually, these probably will be. I'll put some Crisis-related GIFs up. I'll try and find a decent one. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I need to find a good one. That one's not very good. That one's... Actually, this one's probably better. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better, but we'll go with it. So it's Superman. We'll just go Superman. There we go. Hopefully that's better. It's not as distracting as Dancing Barry. I forgot what I was talking about just then. Super Beast, $2. Thank you very much for that. Any chance Tom Welling makes another appearance? I'd say the chances are low, but not impossible. Like, I'm not going to say they're 100% a no, but it's definitely not 100% a yes. I'd say there's 5% chance he could be there. As I said, they're still filming cameos. So one of the cameos could be a reshoot of him. However, he only returned to the role because he didn't have to be Superman. He didn't want to suit up. He just wanted to sort of close the Smallville stuff. And I think having him appear again sort of ruins that moment from episode 2. Because I think that was a good ending. And then I think bringing him back sort of just wipes that out. I know technically the multiverse was wiped out, including them. But I think that was a good ending. But I don't know. Do you think the multiverse will return? I actually bring this up in that video, so, hey, you guys, you read my head when you're getting the questions that are in this goddamn video. I'd hope not. I hope that they go, they're ballsy, and they go, yo, no multiverse anymore, just this one Earth. But just because... I'm not too sure, like, you know how, like, Stargirl's coming in, they technically are, like, are they going to create an Earth where, like, the DC Universe stuff is, where there'd be an Earth where the DC movie stuff is? Is that what they, like, would they do that? Or are they just going to make it go, this is just the TV stuff, everything before has been wiped out, we're cleaning it up, and we're just going to have one Earth from now on? I'd prefer them to have the one Earth, but they might have, like, 5 Earths left or something, which sort of negates the point. Like, I think if you're just going to have more than one Earth, you might just go back to having like a clean 52. But then that just it's not confusing. It's just a hard one to answer because I know what they're going to do. I would prefer they just did one Earth, one clean Earth, and all the heroes live on the same Earth. However, I think they're going to sort of give them a bit of wiggle room where they can do some multiverse stuff in the future. But I would like it if they had, it's one Earth's created, and then, but through what happens, maybe they create like something like the Dark Multiverse or something like that, which might have multiple Earths. Um, but yeah, that's for us to wait and find out. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to go and do. Kobe or LeBron? I really don't watch basketball, but I think whenever someone like shoots I think the common one in Australia, at least, and the one that I use sometimes, even though I don't watch basketball, to sort of refer to when someone like shoots something at a bin or like a trash can, or when I do it, you go Kobe. That's usually what I do. Mike Suika, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Thank you very much for the $1 donation, greatly appreciated. Dark Knight's Metal would be Shui for the next crossover. I don't think they'll do the next crossover. So people have asked, like, what's actually... Let me write that in my notes, because that's a good question. What is the next crossover? Thank you for whoever asked that. What is the next crossover? Because I'm pretty much putting in this video, it's like a lot of fan questions. So there's like a main... You'll see it. Okay, so essentially it's a... Smallville Superman is in the title, so you'll know when it comes out. So that's the video I'm referring to. But it's got a bunch of, like... common questions that people have asked, so that's a good one to chuck in there. So thank you very much for whoever said that. I can't remember who said it. Let me just scroll up. I cannot see it. It should be here. I cannot see it. I have lost my brain. I can't see it. Sorry, whoever said that. I can't find your name again. Oh no, that was Mike Sorget. Don't worry. It was Doom Prod, apparently, unless you're lying. Don't be lying. But yeah, in regards to the next season's crossover, even this sort of spoils what the answer will be. I'll go in more detail in that video, but Guggenheim said it's going to be big but small. I think that was the quote he used. I think it was like big but small. So big but small could mean it has a lot of episodes, but the actual scope and like the scale of the crossover is small. So that's what I would take from that, even though it could mean something completely different. I don't know necessarily what crossover they could do, if it's going to be just one that they create up themselves, or if it is a storyline from the comics. Like Infinite Crisis in the comics is like the actual follow-on from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I don't know I don't think they'd do that next year. I don't know, I have to wait and see. I don't know, because you got to remember next season there's going to be... So the show's next season will be Supergirl, Batwoman, Flash, the Superman and Lois show, Green Arrow and the Canaries, and potentially Legends of Tomorrow and Black Lightning. That's 7 shows. Now, Legends, obviously, especially with how they've handled this season, it does seem that maybe this season will be its last, so maybe take them out, but that's still 6 shows. Supergirl, Batwoman, Flash, Superman and Lois, Green Arrow and the Canaries, and Black Lightning. Obviously, maybe Green Arrow and the Canaries might not factor in because it's in the future, so that would make it 5. And then someone just said Stargirl, but I don't know necessarily what's happening there because their first season's going to start when I think Black Lightning wraps up. But if she does show up, I don't think she'd have an episode, if that makes sense. Because they won't get around to filming their second season. At least it won't be out in time for the crossover, maybe. So she might be in the crossover, but she won't have an episode. So she'll be like Black Lightning. Yeah, so she might be in the crossover, but won't have an episode. So that could be a 5, 6, or 7 episode episode crossover. But at the minimum, I think it'll be a 5, because you got Supergirl, Batwoman, Superman and Lois, The Flash, and Black Lightning. That's 5 shows. So that's what I think maybe he meant by it's big but small at the same time. Because I don't think they'll go for another big one and try to compete with Crisis. Just make it clear this is a smaller one with like a specified story and then maybe like an end goal for it. And then maybe it sets up next season's crossover, and it could be like what Elseworlds was to Crisis. Because if you think about Elseworlds, we were really excited about it, and I think it was a good crossover. But when you look back at it, it was pure Crisis on Infinite Earth setup. Like it doesn't really stand on its own. You'd watch it in tandem with Crisis. You'd watch it as like a build up thing. So they might do that next year for another crossover in the following year, but it matters. It matters as well because Supergirl's contracts end up next season. So does the Flash. So who knows if those shows get a following season that then would play into that crossover. So it's one of those like we have to wait and see because who knows. And then obviously like they could have some of those HBO Max shows playing to the Arrowverse, and then they could be involved in the crossover. They could bump up the budget as well. So multiple things can happen and multiple things come into play. So who knows what's going to happen there specifically. Dougie Schechter with the $2. Thank you very much for that. Paige, you're awesome. Thank you very much for that. And there was another one. It was from Barvin Patani. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. With the £2. Will Cisco still have his powers after Crisis? That's not confirmed now because people are still saying that's the case. But you got to remember, he did. He got wiped out. And the whole history of everything is going to be rewritten. So they might make it that, one, he never got his powers, or two, he still got his powers but took them away. So you got to remember, things are going to be rewritten. I don't want to spoil things. I've already talked about what happens post what we saw in another video from about like a couple of weeks ago. So I don't want to do it in this stream. But you got to remember, he died. So everyone died, so everyone's history could be changed and everything like that, or like little bits of it. So yeah, there's no confirmation or straight up denial that he have his powers. I would say, if I was going to make a safe bet, I'd say they'd probably just not let him have his powers anymore because they did that whole thing last season. But they have the suit there. They're sort of wasting that suit if they just let it sit there and just get all moldy. So then they might want him to have the powers. Who knows? London with the $2. Thank you very much for that, London. I think we'll see Psycho Pirate and or Deegan again. I think if we're going to see Psycho Pirate, we would have seen him by now. So I'd say no. Deegan, though, you never know. I thought we might have seen him at the beginning. Like, I thought they might have done something where we see, like, or we might have seen him throughout Batwoman, like in Arkham or something. But I think at this point, the fact that we haven't seen them yet means we won't see them. Like, they referenced Deegan. I think Lex Luthor referenced him in part 2 or 3. But I think because we haven't seen them at this point means we won't see them at all. I think if they were going to appear, they would have already appeared. Give me 2 seconds. For some reason, this is being weird. Ooh. Okay, sorry for yawning. Thank you, Dougie Schechter, for the $1 donation. Greatly appreciated. I want to see more Anti-Monitor. Yeah, Anti-Monitor, I think, they, not necessarily showing him, but definitely, like, his presence. I think they really should have had Harbinger like, having him in Harbinger's head more. I think that would have been the better way to go about it. But yeah, like him and Pariah, I would have liked to have seen more of them. Yeah, Lex refers to Deegan while talking to Kara, yeah. Brandon Routh is so good as Superman. I 100% agree. And like, look at that suit in the GIF. That suit is, obviously it's very good, but that suit would have cost a lot to make. And if you really narrow it down to how much screen time he has in the crossover, maybe he has 20 minutes? No, like maybe 25, 30 minutes of the crossover. I think he's showing up again, whether it be Crisis or actually it might not be Crisis, but like something else down the pipeline, whether it is his own show on HBO Max or something. But that suit, for those who didn't know, the people that, like, usually that's made by a completely different company that makes the Arrowverse suits. The people that made that suit are the people that made like Loki's suit in the Avengers, some of the other Marvel people. They made a bunch. It's Ironhead Studios, I think it is. If you look up Ironhead Studios on Instagram, you'll see the different suits that they made. Ironhead I'll try and do it myself, Instagram, so I can find the different movies they made. They made the suit for The Tick. They made some of the suits for Watchmen. They made the They made the Batman v Superman Batman suit. They made the some of the stuff for Aquaman. I think it's mainly King Orm, his suit, like Loki stuff. As I said, some of the stuff for the Avengers. They made heaps of stuff. Black Manta's suit from Aquaman. They made that. I think they made the original Batman suit from 1989 as well, or they did something there because it's on their Instagram. And they did heaps. And they've done heaps of stuff. That's a movie level studio, and they did that suit. So, or at least with high budget properties. So I'd have to think that suit will be used again, because it would have been expensive to make. I don't think it would have been that cheap of a suit to make. Why am I doing a live stream before part 2 of Crisis comes out? Why not? Pablo Sanchez with the $2. Thank you very much for that, Pablo. Do you think Brandon Routh Superman will come back? Oh, we're just talking about that. I don't think he'll be in Crisis again. I just don't have I have a feeling he won't be in there just because of what's happened, and it's pretty clear Tyler Hoechlin's going to be the Superman going forward. But in regards to other properties and other shows, I'd hope so, because I think I know people are going to be triggered, but I think he's a better Superman than Henry Cavill. Not saying Henry Cavill's a bad Superman. I think he's a good Superman. But when I look at Brandon Routh, I think of Superman. You know what I mean? I think he is Superman. And I think he got a rough go with the Superman Returns movie. His life would have been completely different if that movie was handled different, and probably Bryan Singer wasn't in charge. It would have been completely different. We would have got a sequel, maybe a trilogy of different movies, of other movies, sorry. I think the sequel that they had planned was Brainiac and Bizarro, I think it was, for that Superman Returns. And I agree with Lego Pete. I don't necessarily think Superman Returns is great, but I think it's actually it's a pretty good movie. I'm not the biggest Superman fan either, and I think that movie is actually made for Superman fans. I think it's just, once again, I think it lacked action, but it still has one of the best, I think, scenes in a comic book movie, which is the plane scene over the baseball field. But yeah, so he got a rough go. It would have been nice to and this is more than 10 years ago. This is 13 years ago. I bought it on iTunes. I bought Superman Returns. I think it was $5, and I'm gonna go watch it. Maybe not today, but throughout this week. And I thought I want to go back and watch it. For those that didn't know, as I mentioned on Twitter, I saw when they were filming that movie because it was filmed in Sydney, Australia. At least most of it was. So I got to see the scene. The scene in particular was it was when there's a taxi or a cab about to crush. I don't know if it was Lois Lane or just some randoms, but it's outside the Daily Planet, and then he shows up as Superman and catches it. But yeah, so he got a rough go. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened, because I thought it was a decent movie. It just wasn't. I think it came out at the wrong time as well. That period of superhero movies wasn't that great either. The only, in regards to I guess when fans were pleased, if that makes sense. Do you wish they had an HBO Max budget for Crisis? Yeah, but I don't think Crisis needs a ridiculous budget either. I don't think it needs it. Crisis isn't that a ridiculously epic or in-depth story. The whole point of the story in the comics was to, I think I mentioned this on Twitter or something. I remember saying it. Was it in a video? I can't remember. It's pretty much spring cleaning the crossover, or spring cleaning the event. It was to clean up their world, because over the years of DC Comics, they just made all these Earths and all these continuity issues, and they needed to clean it up and just streamline it. That was the whole point of the event. I don't necessarily think the Arrowverse has to do that, but it allows them to maybe retcon some things in the past, which I think would help certain things, especially maybe Supergirl. Because I'm not, I don't know what you guys think if you watch Supergirl, but I'm not the biggest fan of how aliens are so prominent. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes the existence of Superman and Supergirl as well on Earth, so special, is it they're the only aliens, out there aliens. But when you have all these aliens just walking around, I think it sort of takes away from that. And I think it would allow them to do more stories on Supergirl if maybe the aliens, not necessarily if they weren't there, but I mean if they weren't as open. You know what I mean? So like, you know, when that like Supergirl season 1 when the prison came down, they're still out there from that, or like they you know, they're just coming to Earth and stuff like that. I think if they were not out and like the public didn't know about the aliens, I think that would work better. But maybe they might change that up. Who knows? Especially if the Earths merge. I think they'll have aliens out and about on Earth 1 or the new Earth with Flash and stuff there. So yeah. I saw a question before. Thank you, Rappin' Abs. I think that's the best way to say it, with the $1. Thank you very much for that. And Dougie Schechter with another $1. Thank you very much for that as well. Oh, sorry, and Rappin' Abs put $2.79 as well. Thank you very much for that. Missed that one from before. Let me close this. So I'm just looking through something. Okay, don't worry. What will Reverse Flash's role be in Crisis Part 2? I think it's in the comic. It's like there's a battle with villains. I can't remember specifically off the top of my head what it is, but there's a battle with villains before they go to the Battle of the Dawn of Time. So in the trailer, you'll see that there's like what do you call it? It's like that blue. It honestly looks like we're going to the Titans verse with like the blue filter. That's the Dawn of Time. So there's a battle of the Dawn of Time, where the heroes versus the Anti-Monitor. And if you've read Crisis, you know what will happen there, which will then fold out into the last episode where there will be another battle. But the Battle of the Dawn of Time is like the crunch moment, and that's going to be the epic one. That's going to be the one where I think they actually spent a lot of money on that fight, and it's like, I think the fight goes for like, I think I heard like 15 minutes, which when you think about, 15 minutes, not that's long. For a TV show, that is massive. I've heard it goes for like 15 minutes or something like that, whether it be a lot of dialogue in between, I don't know, but apparently that fight goes for 15 minutes. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. It's in the trailers, you see, but that is the Battle of the Dawn of Time. And pretty much that's where the multiverse can be influenced, if that's the best way to put it, without spoiling stuff. And I might have spoiled necessarily what I might have spoiled like maybe what happens there in regards to a change, but that's where stuff happens. Will Brainiac be in Crisis? I have no idea. I know the guy from Krypton was going to be in Crisis, but he's filming something and they couldn't make it work. But that's the thing, the stuff that they couldn't make work to fit in parts, like, or part 1 specifically, you know, with all that, what do you call it? What's it called? Like the montage at the beginning, like the cameo montage. If they couldn't get stuff done then, they might try and make it work into the part 5 or something. I don't know if the Krypton one would work though, because it's Krypton. But anyway. Pablo Sanchez with the $2. Supergirl gets way too political, not a great show. I don't think it gets way too political. Like, if you really look at the seasons, like, I don't think it has like a political thing every single episode. I think it's just when they want to make something political, it's like they shove it down your throats. And I think the biggest issue is if you're not American, you're sitting there going like, I don't get this. Like, I watch it as Australian, they're referencing all these things. I'm like, I don't understand what you're referring to. This is obviously a big American thing. Like, I know it's obviously set in America. Like, the show's set in America, but like it just doesn't translate that well to an international audience, I guess, when you do that stuff. But I don't think it's like super political like every single episode. It's just that when they go political, whether it's one episode a season, they really go political, or they go very politically correct. That's probably the best way. Like, I remember they did the Black Lives Matter episode, and it was so forced. Like, you could have done it so much better. There was no lead up, and it didn't feel like there was too much fallout either from it. They could have done it much better. If you want to do it, that's cool. You know, that's cool, but you got to do it well. And I think that's the issue that Supergirl's come across. I think when Supergirl just tries to be a superhero show, it thrives. Like, look at the end of last season. They just went full on weird, like crazy Lex Luthor and everything like that, and it works. And Jacko Rion Cooper, hopefully I probably destroyed that name with the pronunciation. I'm so sorry, but he went Black Lightning is also political, but I think Black Lightning makes it relevant. While I don't think they necessarily go a bit like almost, I don't want to say like fictional, but like Supergirl could sometimes go beyond what is reality, while I think Black Lightning actually stays fairly grounded to what they say. I think sometimes they might go a bit overboard with certain things, but it's nothing to the extent where you go, oh, I'm angry, you know? It doesn't really bother me. I don't really care if a show's like political or not, because it just usually goes on my head. I just want to watch the comic book crap. But yeah. So where's the prequel? I'm not too sure you're referring to the Plasma. I want Dick Grayson in Crisis and maybe another universe where Wally West is the white ginger one. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I know technically you can say, oh, like it chooses different things, but if you want the white Wally West with the ginger hair, you're really asking the whole West lineage to be white, which I don't think they're going to do. Yeah, I don't know if they'd do that. The big thing that's going to be interesting as well is how, if Titans bring in Wally West, how do they handle it? Because there's been a lot of talk about like how Iris should be changed in canon to be either African American or mixed, and I'm an advocate for I think nowadays, especially nowadays in present, and like if it was like 10 or 15 years ago, I can understand they're not changing it. But nowadays, when comics are struggling, I think they need to adapt to whatever the representation is, like of a certain character is in the live action. So they should they do that, like especially Marvel does it as well. But also, and like I guess DC's done a bit with, especially with like Aquaman and stuff, and even with Wonder Woman, they've sort of done some stuff where it looks like Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. But like you make like the character sort of look like what the movie version is, because that's how you get new readers in. Is like, oh, okay, well, I really liked Iron Man. I liked Iron Man, so I'll go buy some Iron Man comics and I'll read that. And actually, that's a bad example because Robert Downey Jr. looks like Tony Stark anyway. But it's like, I guess with like Thor, if you wanted to do that, they can make it look like Chris Hemsworth, or anything along those lines. Like they make the character actually look like the one from the movies. There's been a lot of pressure for them to do that with Iris and either make it look like Candace Patton and stuff. And I know in the Walmart comics they've done that, but she's literally on like 3 pages. She's hardly in that thing at all. So, I know it's interesting to see if they ever change that around or not. But it matters if they get pressured or not. Is John Diggle Green Lantern? I don't know. Is he? I don't know. Is he? I don't know, is he? Is that the best thing to say? I have a sudden impulse to go watch Flash Season 1, and I have no clue why, but I'm not going to question it. For some reason, don't ask me why, I had a sudden impulse to watch Legends of Tomorrow Season 3 yesterday. I don't even have it. Oh, do I? No, I don't. Do I? Do I have it on? I might have it. Oh, no, I don't. I don't. Talk about the original Flash Crisis from the newspaper, please, bro. Will we still get the original Flash Crisis from the newspaper headline from Season 1? No. Like, they pretty much said that in episode 2? Was it episode 1 or 2? When they're referring to it. They pretty much say, oh no, events have changed, that's not happening. Now it's this cosmic threat. Like, they pretty much like tell the audience in episode 1 and 2 that that's not happening. Like, I think they're going to do something to nod at that with Reverse Flash in the episode, but I wouldn't be expecting that. Not saying it won't happen, but it's very unlikely it's going to happen, because they pretty much said like Destiny has changed and the cosmic threat came in and everything like that. So that's not the crisis that Barry's facing anymore. Julian with the $2. Thank you very much for that, Julian. Are they gonna recast old villains and heroes? Are you talking about? I'm not too sure you're referring to there, Julian. You might have to let me know in the comment section. I'm assuming you're talking about with the multiverse changes, maybe. I guess that's what you're referring to. If that's the case, then maybe, or they might just maybe, or they might make him younger, or something. I don't know. If that's what you're referring to, I guess that's probably the best answer. Mike Stalker with $1. Thank you very much for that. Gary Gamon with the $4. Will you be expanding your channel after Arrow ends? I just do whatever I want to do videos on. Like, I'm not going to force myself. That's why, like, I pretty much just condense the content down because I'm not going to force myself to do stuff I'm not interested in talking about, because I don't want to be here like, hey, I just watched something that I didn't really like too much and I don't really care about, but here's a video on it. You know, I'd rather talk about stuff that I'm intrigued by and interested in. The cool thing is that with the HBO Max stuff coming in, like Stargirl, I'm going to do Stargirl when that starts. It doesn't start till April, maybe end of March. But Stargirl will be a thing on my channel because I love Stargirl and the JSA from the comics, so I really want to do that in regards to content on the channel. But I might do Legends if Legends is good, because I like reviewing Legends when it's good. But last season, I didn't think last season was bad. It was just silly, and I think it was overly silly. So yeah, I might do Legends. Fly Wavy, if you look in the description, I have a Discord. The link's right there. It's in the description if you want to click on it. If you haven't joined my Discord yet, you can click the link in the description and join it. There's always live chats on every single week. Obviously, there's nothing going on at the moment in regards to shows, but definitely join so when the shows come back, and you can still talk in there when the shows are off, because stuff's coming out. But the link in the description is down there, so click it and you can join the server. Why is my face itchy? You wouldn't have seen me scratch my face because my camera's not on. Lantern Core 2814 $2. Do you think they'll do a final Crisis? They could do as many crises as they please, I guess. I don't necessarily know what next year's crossover is going to be though. Infinite Crisis wouldn't surprise me, but they have to build up to it. They probably have to set up some characters. I don't necessarily know exactly what one they'll do next season. Like Blackest Night would be a really cool one because you get all the dead characters that could come back, especially ones that were maybe killed in Crisis. That'd be pretty interesting, if that technically wouldn't make sense too much in regards to like the multiverse being wiped out. But I wouldn't mind Blackest Night, but you still need the Green Lantern stuff. But with the Green Lantern HBO Max show, maybe that might be a possibility. Who knows? Dougie Schechter with the $1, thank you very much for that, and Julian with the $2, the $2, sorry. Are they going to reuse old characters by recasting? I had a theory that maybe they could do that, especially with, like, if you remember back to like early seasons of Arrow, like specifically Arrow season 1, but also 2 as well. They used Batman villains, so maybe they could recast those Batman villains to appear on Batwoman, or they could even have the case where it's like in Green Arrow and the Canaries and the future stuff, they could change things around there to make maybe the character was younger in 2020, 2019, then by like 2040, if that's where the crossover is actually set, maybe they're only like 40 years old or something like that, and they can be a threatening villain then. So they could do stuff like that to change it up. But I wouldn't expect a ridiculous amount of recasting, maybe just a handful of characters there. That's for us to wait and find out. We won't know until it gets to that point. Remember Firefly in Arrow season 1? Was that actually meant to be Firefly? I think it was actually, when it was like a firefighter. Like, I remember like watching Arrow season 1, or just thinking back to Arrow season 1, sorry, and just like some of the episodes they did. Like, early seasons of Arrow were so good. Like, that's a bit random in some cases, but it's still so good. Lantern Core 2814, thank you very much for joining the membership to the channel. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to the membership. Enjoy your little emoji next to your name, your little emblem, and enjoy your emojis in the chat. I can actually add, I think, 3 or 4 more emojis now because people have joined the membership, so I'll have to get on that and do that. London with the $5, thank you very much for that. They probably would have done the Flash newspaper if the show wasn't so popular, and this was the last season. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. So if it wasn't like the top show, and if this season was the last season, probably, yeah, or something along those lines. The thing is, it was always like, whenever you read the newspaper, it always sounded like, okay, well, that's going to be like the finale or something, or like the second or third last episode. But yeah, they probably would have done that. I think once you got into like I think when they said that Crisis was this year, you thought, okay, well, that's not going to happen. Something's going to change. I can understand why people are annoyed, but like, you should have known probably like at least by the beginning of this season, if not last season, that it probably wasn't going to happen. But I can understand why people are annoyed still. I think I'm missing part of the question. Okay, don't worry. Is Reverse Flash going to be part of the Dawn of Time battle? Maybe. I wouldn't be able to tell you yes or no to that. Mini Fox, are you going to review the Arrow spin-off show? I'm going to react to the first episode, and I'll probably review it. But the thing is that, well, I'm going to react to the backdoor pilot, which comes out the week after Crisis ends. And then that show obviously won't start until October, I'm guessing, if it gets picked up. But it's obviously going to get picked up. The only thing I've heard is that Kat McNamara, who plays Mia, who's the lead, or I guess she's the lead of that, is doing movie auditions. I've been told that she's doing movie auditions. However, it's December now. That show won't start filming until July. So there's 6-7 months there where she could film a movie. So I don't know if maybe she got cast in some big thing or a bigger TV show, she might take it. But you get paid so much at the CW to be on a show, it's ridiculous. Like, people think like the CW is low budget and like it's like they get no money. The shows are made on a fairly good budget, so the CW is very profitable and they can pay people a lot of money to be on the shows. That's why they get like a lot of random like guest actors that you'll recognize, be like, oh, that's like this person from this movie or this TV show, because they can afford to go, hey, here's an extra bit amount of money than what you'd usually get for a guest role to be on the shows. They get paid heaps. Like Grant's on like 100K an episode or something, which means he gets like 2.2 million a season, which is crazy. Gwendolyn, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I haven't. With the $2. Any idea on the big bad for Flash after Crisis? It's constantly on my mind. I'd be lying if I said I'm not constantly thinking about it. I think like Black Hole's obviously going to be there. I think I mentioned this in my previous video, like briefly. Like Black Hole is there, so they're obviously going to play into the villain. I guess the big question is like how they play into the villain, because I think if you're going to make a bet, I would say probably Godspeed. I know it's such a typical answer, but Godspeed was set up in episode 1. It's an easy thing to weave in, because I think I don't think the actual villain, if it is Godspeed, I don't think Godspeed will appear until a couple of episodes in. I don't think he'll actually, like, in regards to a couple of episodes in, I mean, so we'll pick up in episode 10, and we might not pick up with him until, like, episode 14 or 15. They did, however, cast a female Mirror Master, but Mirror Master is such a lame villain for a big bad, it's not even funny. Like, Mirror Master works with the rogues. Mirror Master doesn't work by himself for, like, multiple episodes. Like, he was good in the episodes with, what do you call it? Like, Top and, like, it was just him. Like, in those, like, 2 episodes, even though it was really only 1, because that appearance in, what was it, the future episode doesn't really count, I guess, for the most part. But I'd say Godspeed or Negative Flash are probably I'd say Godspeed more than anything, just because he appeared in episode 1, and that's actually just some form of evidence. But the fact that the whole, like, Dark Flash, Negative Flash thing happened in episode 7 and 8, makes you think that maybe someone is given that ability or that mantle as well, whether the Black Hole is attached to it, which would probably be the case. But if it is Mirror Master, that would suck, and I'd be so disappointed in Eric Wallace, unless there's a massive twist and it turns in, like, she turns into some, like, ridiculously overpowered person. But even then, I don't really want overpowered. I want good writing and just threatening, you know what I mean? Not overpowered. I think someone donated a super chat. Michelle Alexandria, thank you very much for the $2. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. Batman's death in Crisis was so bad. That was the only thing I had an issue with. I know people are blowing their minds and going, oh my god, they disrespected Batman. The whole point of that was showing a different side of Batman and showing, like, a Batman that goes too far. Like, pretty much, it's the BVS Batman if he kept going. Like, that's pretty much the best way to look at it. You can argue maybe it's like a bit of a stab at that version of Batman, but I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's just more arguably, like, just showing an extreme version of that. You know what I mean? I thought it was actually really good, and people were complaining about the Smallville thing as well. And I thought, well, how do you want them to do it? He was never going to suit up. We knew that. I guess the only criticism you can have is like, would Superman really give up his powers? And I think, well, yeah, if he probably felt that that Earth wasn't at threat or anything like that, like, why wouldn't he? Especially if there's other heroes there to protect it as well. And obviously, like that Earth Supergirl would still be there as well. So, yeah, it's Batman if he broke his rule. That's the best way to put it. And like to an extreme point, like to the point where he kills not only Superman, like an ally technically, but his whole rogues galleries, like breaking his code straight up. Do you think the old Pariah will come back, aka Nick Gurr, the 1950s one? I have no idea. They were pissed Batwoman killed him. Well, I just had an issue that like they felt the need to do that. I don't necessarily think it was like, I know that's why people will be annoyed. Don't get me wrong. I know that's why people are annoyed on that. Like, there's a decent amount of people annoyed just because, oh my god, Batwoman killed him, even though technically it was an accident. But I think they didn't need to kill him. I think that's the only thing. But I have a feeling, probably not in Crisis, because there's only 2 episodes left, I think, unless there's like a mini moment. But I think it's more going to carry on into Batwoman, where she'll deal with that. I think that's probably like a character sort of, not arc beginning, but it's a character moment. And they'll probably build on that. And obviously, that's probably going to change Batwoman's outlook on things as well, in how she's acting. So I think that was a bit, I think it was fitting it happened in the Batwoman episode. Because Batwoman, like, especially with what they did in the mid-season finale, I think it's going to be more streamlined on Kate's character now. Because I think in the beginning half, like the first half, especially the first handful of episodes, they were trying to balance a lot, like juggle a lot of things with different characters. But I'm interested to see what because people say Batwoman sucks. Batwoman doesn't suck. If you've watched Batwoman, you know it doesn't suck. Like Batwoman is it amazing? Is it a 10 out of 10? No, it's probably like a 7 out of 10. Like, it's very watchable. I think the only issue they have is just maybe like building that world. Because they're trying to basically beat Arrow season 1 in a world where you have Supergirl, Flash, Arrow doing all this crazy stuff and everything like that. And it does feel a bit out of place because it's trying to be so grounded. I think that's Batwoman's biggest issue. And it has nothing to really do with the show itself. It's just more the universe it's in. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest issue with Batwoman. But if you just watched Batwoman, you'd be fine with it. You'd be like, okay, sweet, I'm liking this show. But just because I think it's the world it's in, it just feels maybe a bit out of place. I think that's the only issue it has going for it. Did someone... Well, my computer... Okay, I thought someone might have super chatted because I wasn't too sure. I thought my computer like shot up, like the browser page. That's usually what happens when someone super chats. Sophie sucks. Need to get rid of her. I don't like Sophie that much because I don't think there's any chemistry between her and Kate Kane. I don't believe that they were ever in a relationship or ever in love or ever are still in love with each other. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think that's really bad miscast. That's a miscast. And something against the actress. I can't think her name's Megan something. It's nothing necessarily against her. Like, I think she's an okay actress, but I think her chemistry with Kate is arguably terrible. It's pretty bad. But I think the rest of the spoiler, another character that dies, I wasn't the biggest fan of, and I've said it previously in other streams. I wasn't the biggest fan of her, but she died. So, yeah, the best characters on the show are Mary and Alice. I think Kate still needs some work, but I think it's mainly because it's been a bit to and fro. Is that the best word to use it? Best phrase to use. With like what they want to do with her character and then cutting to other characters. But I think Mary and Alice are probably the 2 best characters. But yeah. Kate has a little bit of chemistry with Kara. Yeah, I think they definitely want to build on that. I think they're running out of time. I think they tried to do that in episode, was it 2 or 3? Or both, I guess. Both of them episodes. But I don't know if this is true, but apparently there's a Supergirl Batwoman crossover in the back half of this season. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard people saying that. If it's true, then that's good, because then those two can actually build on each other in their own stuff without any like parallel storylines going on. But yeah, I was talking about Kate Stedman, by the way. But yeah, so hopefully if that is true, there is a crossover between them later this season. That would help them build on each other. That friendship, like they're trying to play that off with what do you call it? Like the Barry and Oliver relationship or friendship. How is Batwoman having 22 episodes? I don't think it should. I think they had 13. And I think they should have gone up to 16. I don't know how they're going to extend 9 episodes. Wait, what was this? Supergirl best clip said. I'm just trying to see what you wrote initially because I think you wrote a follow up. Okay, Supergirl best clips. Are you saying that there is a crossover between Batwoman and Supergirl later this season? Just let me write yes in the chat if that's the case, because I think that's maybe what you're referring to. 22 episodes. What? Yeah, I don't think it needs 22 for this season. I think in like following seasons it could. It probably should, because you could do a lot. But I think in this season with the Alice storyline, I think 16 would serve it. Okay, yes, the Batwoman showrunner said, okay, so we are, I don't know if it's going to be over 2 episodes. Well, they are on the same night. Well, that's actually good. That's very smart. You could do one night, 2 episodes. It's like a 2-hour episode almost. That'd work. Like, if you haven't watched Batwoman, give it a go. I know people are like, oh, I watched, like, ignore the pilot, because I think the pilot's actually solid. Like, for a pilot episode, it's actually fairly solid. But I think it takes about, 2 or 3 episodes to get rolling. I think once it hits like 4 and 5, like that's when it's like, good. Even though I think the first 3 episodes are fairly solid, just a lot of stuff happening because they're trying to build on stuff. Patty with the $20. Thank you very much for that, Patty. Greatly appreciated. Hey, Paigey, someone keeps posting this and I'd like you to answer it. But first, what is a Spectre? 2. The question, do you think Oliver will recreate all the Earths since he is the only one strong enough to read the book? In regards to the Spectre's like the hand of God. That's probably the best way to put it. Like he's the hand of God. He is pretty much a god, but he's not God. You know what I mean? He's got just think of him as a god, like a powerful being that sort of exists out of of proper reality. In regards to Oliver as Spectre in the Crisis event causes something. I'll just say it, because I don't think there's many. He causes this like big energy thing, which then allows certain things to happen between him and Anti-Monitor. I don't know what happens necessarily after that, but I think whatever happens there will push Oliver into becoming this non-existent in regards to like our reality, but it's still Spectre across everything. Like he's still this godlike figure. That sounds confusing the way I put it. Pretty much Oliver causes crap to go down when he's Spectre. That's probably the best way to put it. I'm trying to explain it without spoiling everything. I think that's the best way to put it. Hopefully I haven't confused people. Pretty much powers of a god, and Oliver as Spectre will cause crap to go down that will form the future of the Arrowverse, which I think is fitting. So Felicity went to Spectre's realm in the Arrow finale, pretty much, or where Oliver's soul will be being kept. Like Felicity dies, by the way. At the end of that season, Felicity kills herself. She kills herself and her soul goes to where Oliver is. She can't come back from that. So that was like almost like like she kills herself. But thank you very much for that, Patty. Greatly appreciated. What's the most significant thing Oliver as Spectre will do? Probably what I just sort of explained. Because he pretty much restores everything. That's probably the best way. Restores it, but doesn't restore it. Are you disappointed that Brandon and Superman died, or do you think he'll come back in part 5? I don't think he'll come back in part 5. Well, I don't think he should. If I expect to happen, what will happen, or what should happen. I wouldn't say, I wanted to see more of him, but I have a feeling we are going to see more of him in something else. Because you got to remember, Brandon Routh left Legends. Like I don't know what happened there, because like him and his wife got I'd say they got fired. Like like if you get your character gets written off, you pretty much got fired. So him and his wife got fired at the same time, which was really weird. I don't know what necessarily happened there. I'd love to know exactly what happened, but they're leaving in like episode, I think 7 or 8 of Legends this season. Is that like why he's too expensive? I guess he is the lead. He's the male lead, so that might be why. Well, if that, I don't know, does that mean Legends is going to get another season? They had to cut some, the expensive wood off, if that makes sense. I don't know. I thought it was weird that he got, it just seemed a bit dodgy. Because he didn't want to go. But maybe Warner Brothers might throw him a bone. They might give him his Superman show on HBO Max. I don't know. Yeah, Brandon won't replace Tyler. Like, Tyler Hoechlin's the Superman of the Arrowverse. Like, people give Tyler Hoechlin a rough go. I think it's just because he's not as tall as the other Superman. Like, I think Tyler Hoechlin's 6'1", which is how tall I am, and 6'1" isn't short. Like, what's the average height of a male? Like 5'10"? I think 5'10" or 5'9" is like the average height of a male, of an adult male. So being 6 foot up is, you're above average. But I think it's like Brandon's like 6'4", and it didn't help either when Tyler Hoechlin first appeared on screen as Superman. Jimmy Olsen is like, I think 6'3" or 6'4" as well. So that didn't help either. Like when Jimmy Olsen is towering over a Superman, it doesn't help. So I think Tyler Hoechlin's a good Superman. I think maybe if he's just another inch or two taller, it might help him a bit in regards to people giving him stick. I think Grant's 6'2", I think. Yeah, Henry Cavill's about 6'2", I think. Like to be a Superman, you obviously have to be above. You have to be like above average and everything. Is Hoechlin only 6? Okay, I saw someone write on Twitter, like they were explaining it, and they were saying like Brandon was 6'4" or 6'3" or 6'4", and Hoechlin was 6'1". But yeah, Legends can't be Legends without Brandon. It's gonna be weird. I'm intrigued to see how they write him off as well. Like, do they die or are they just written off? And is that why Ryan Choi gets brought in? Does Ryan Choi replace him in episode 9? I have no idea. Do you think they can bring back Krypton, as in the show Krypton? I think that's dead and buried. I'd be surprised if that ever came back, to be completely honest. Do you think Katie McGrath is not leaving Supergirl season? Well, I think with that arc, I'd be surprised if she stayed. It seems like she's going to leave, but I don't know. It matters if she has work, I guess. If she has like a job lined up, then she might leave. Paige, do you think we'll see Mina Darman as a villain soon? Well, I think if we're going to see her, it'll be this season because Black Hole's there. So I think that she's going to be in this season and maybe a villain. She's going to be in a season and will be a villain possibly. She'll be in this season. In Legends, Zari got replaced with her brother. Will they continue that plot line? Yes, he's in the season, but Zari's also in the season as well. So it's a different version of Zari, but her brother's going to be there as if he was there since season... When did she come in? Season 3? Season 3, I think it was. Yeah, so she's going to... He's going to be there as if he was there since season 3. So it's going to be weird. They might do like some weird sort of thing where they go back to... They might have reshot scenes from like season 3 and beyond to like do like a... Previously on Legends of Tomorrow, and it shows him in place of Zari. If anything, that's probably what they're going to do. Do you think Katie Cassidy joins Green Arrow in the Karen Arrow's new series? She's in it. It's her, Dinah, and Mia. Those are the 3 main characters. Sorry, just looking at the chat. London with the $2. Least favorite moment of Crisis so far. Least favorite moment. Don't really have a least favorite moment. The thing I'm just disappointed by, it's not really a moment, it's just the lack of Pariah. Like he should have been in that opening montage, seeing all those Earths be destroyed. Like I know why it wasn't. It felt weird not having him there. I know why he wasn't there. Paige, what do you think of Spectre annually cameoing in crossovers? I don't think you want him annually crossing over, but I think like that's why they made Steven Spectre. That's why, well, not Steven. That's why they made Oliver Spectre, because they can do stuff with him in the future in like 2 or 3 seasons time if they want to. Miles McHattie with the 21 Canadian. Thank you very much for that, Miles. Very generous. Hi, Paigey. Were you surprised that every Earth died in part 3? Yes, because it completely goes against the Crisis comic. So for those that don't know, the multiverse doesn't just get destroyed. There's 5 Earths still alive at the Battle of Dawn of Time. And what happens is that those 5 Earths get merged. So those are the Earths that get merged together, and that's what creates the new existence post-crisis. But now every Earth is destroyed. So what happens now? Does that mean every Earth that was alive has the potential to be merged into one Earth? Or what's going to happen there? Because they completely changed it up. I think they did that on purpose as well, to not say that like Earth 1, Earth 2, or not Earth 2, like Earth 3, Earth 19, and Earth something are still alive, so they could be merged. So I think they sort of left it open where it can be a surprise when what happens. So yeah. But guys, it's actually been an hour. I was only going to stream for an hour, so I'm actually going to end the stream right now. I'm sorry for like randomly cutting it short. But I will try and live stream maybe. So it's maybe on like Thursday night, England or Europe and American time. Maybe Wednesday night, I'm not too sure. But I'll let you know. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know on there. If you have not followed my Discord yet, feel free to. It's in the description as well as my Twitter and Instagram. Follow them if you haven't. Thank you to everyone that's super chatted. Thank you to everyone that joined the membership. Yeah, greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Casey Smith with the $4 right at the end there. Why isn't it appearing there? Evan McCulloch as Mirror Master. Will she help Team Flash? She teams up with Iris. So I guess she helps Team Flash. But maybe not. Maybe she's just with Iris and some weird sort of thing going on there. Maybe something like that. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. I know she's working with Iris. Like, that was the description, that her and Iris get tied together. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I'll catch you on another stream or another video later in the week, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.